to see if you're too heavily invested in the market. Don't let the ups and downs of Wall Street control you or your retirement dreams. Call 801-210-5500 today to schedule your risk analysis with Mike Stevens and the team at Capital Wealth Advisors. That's 801-210-5500. Crashes happen. Question is, are you ready? Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here's Heather Kelly.
We've got good speeds on all the major freeways across the Wasatch Front. Just a few brake lights showing up from time to time. Northbound 15 in downtown Salt Lake. And in downtown itself, you're going to have the closure of 500 South between 1300 East and the Campus Drive. That is due to some event that's happening at Rice Eccles Stadium. And you're going to see some delays around Maverick Center due to graduation ceremonies happening there all day today. Another true David versus Goliath miracle movie from director T.C. Christensen. See Raising the Bar, the story of high jumper Alma Richards' journey from rural Utah to an Olympic gold medal, in theaters now. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with the highs in the lower 80s, and that summer weather continues into the weekend. 88 for a high on Mother's Day. Right now, it's 65 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Dave, when you and I reported recently on a situation inside an Ogden home where police went in, discovered more than 150 dogs, I had no idea what police had actually stepped into until I saw about a 5-minute clip that was provided to us from the Ogden City Police Department from a body camera that was worn by one of the officers. It was like they stepped into a sea of dogs.
It was one of those situations where you think, oh, I can picture that in my mind. No, you can't. Not until you see it. They're knocking at this door, and this door that they're knocking on before they serve the warrant, it's barely held together. It is falling apart. It has been patched in a half dozen places with planks of wood and plywood. But as soon as they start creeping that door open, you hear this cacophony of barks. It's absolutely deafening. You can barely hear the officers trying to communicate to one another. It is so noisy.
Yeah, I the first thing I thought when I saw these dogs and the barking that never stops was my initial thought when we heard about this was how did police find out about this, right? I mean, it's at a home in a neighborhood, but how did police find out about it? And then I saw this video and heard all of these barking dogs, and I was like, well, how can you not know about it? You know, even when the cops stepped outside of the home and the body camera was still picking up the audio from you could hear these. It's just a chorus, a nonstop chorus of screeching and really, quite frankly, sad dogs.
And the neighbor's house is probably 15 feet away. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is not in the middle of nowhere. This isn't removed from the street. It is right there.
We'll get more from KSL5 Television's Mike Anderson in just a moment, who has been covering this story. But there's so many layers to what we saw on this video that we just couldn't ignore it this morning. We had to talk about it.
My eyes burn. Ammonia is not good, bro.
We have hazmat suits in our trucks. So I don't know.
You guys might need them later, but Definitely.
We're gonna get our masks real quick.
As the police entered, they couldn't make it past the first room before they had to turn around and go get gas masks. They had to put those on. They left, they put them on before they could even clear the house, and you could hear them coughing and gagging because the smell of ammonia was so strong. And once they put their masks on, they were able to go back into the house, but they were talking about how their eyes were burning and their nostrils. You could hear them coughing. It was just a miserable experience for just a few seconds for the police.
Yeah. So when I was watching this unfold and the cops carefully walking through the house, looking to see if somebody was inside as well, I thought, when your fifth grade teacher goes around the room and asks, what do you want to do when you grow up? And somebody says, well, I want to be a firefighter. Now the person says, I want to be an accountant. Maybe. I probably said, I want to be a news reporter, And somebody says, I want to be a police officer. I highly doubt that this was in the vision of what it is to be a police officer. But they were the first responders out there. And they step into this, I don't know what else to call it, a tsunami of Chihuahua breeds. And what do you do with that? You got to back out. You can see the cop with the body cam on walking back to his car, grabbing what looks to be like a military-style gas mask. And then a couple of them enter the home looking to make sure there's nothing else going on inside the home. But they find dogs and they find cats.
We got several cats back there. Is that front door open? Yeah.
And this is not a house that's easily searched. There's also stuff. There's just stuff all over the place in every room.
It was hoarding on every level. You are looking at them narrowly, trying to find a place to put their foot as they're walking through the house, and every square foot of that house has something, whether it's an animal or there's water bottles, there's just buckets all over the place, and the police can barely even walk through this place, and it is just the most deplorable conditions you can imagine. And they go in and they try to get out as quickly as possible because and you could hear them, they were concerned about finding bodies because the condition of the home, there was no light. They had to go in there with their flashlights. There was a little bit of sunlight coming through, but largely the windows had been blacked out. They were covered up so you couldn't see in, almost like it was being hidden. Again, I just look at this and you hear the sound every time this door was opening. It was just this chorus of loud, yappy, barking dogs. How did people not realize or recognize what was going on, and how long did this go on?
Maybe they did. Mike Anderson of KSL5 Television, you've been tracking this story. Walk us back just a bit to yesterday when we first got this video, Mike, and you saw the video. You'd been covering this story. You've been at the home. You actually believe knocked on the door at the home at one point after this was discovered. What were your thoughts when you first saw the video?
Well, yeah, a lot similar to what you guys have been talking about. Just wow at how many dogs are in there. And the reaction by the officers, I mean, hats off to them, because I was outside the home yesterday, and outside there's a dumpster with a lot of those, the furniture, a lot of the belongings just dumped in there. And I stood there for a 5 o'clock live shot, and by the time I was done, I was like, I can't do this. I have to move for 6. It was making me sick.
That does not surprise me at all, because you could just hear every step that the police, they couldn't even make it through that first room without having to turn around. And Mike, as I'm looking around the house, maybe you could describe the condition of the house and the surrounding area, because it didn't seem like it was just animal hoarding going on.
Yeah, I think very similar to what you just described. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head there. But you had dogs all over on beds, on furniture, and you could see. Looked like at one point I think I saw some saved grocery bags hanging up. Boxes of kitty litter, just things all over the place. So, yeah, it seems like what you would imagine to be a true hoarder's house.
Mike, I want to talk in just a moment about the fate of the dogs. I know there were more than 150 pulled out of that home and then placed in other in shelters and in homes. But I want to get to that in just a moment to get an update. But let's walk through what the owner of that home faces in terms of charges, because look, I don't track all of the cases like this across the country, as I'm sure you don't either, but it does seem to be, at least for Utah, an unprecedented number of misdemeanor charges facing the owner. It's close to 700. And then to me, there was this surprising twist I wasn't expecting in this story, but you've been covering it. You know this story a lot better than I do, and that is there was somebody else charged as well in this case. So walk us through where we're at with that, and in total, how many criminal charges are being leveled against these two individuals.
Yeah, so it is a lot, and I've never seen. Excuse me, I've covered a lot of hoarding cases before. I've never seen nearly this many charges, but you've got mostly animal cruelty, nuisance-related charges. But we've got 637 for the main homeowner, Miguel Salgado Vargas, and then his nephew also facing 336 misdemeanor charges. And so it's a lot, and if you add them all up, that could be, a lot of money, around $1,000 a piece in fines and maybe some jail time. But the prosecutor's office has said, that they want to do justice by the animals, by the people impacted by what's happened. But at the same time, they say and this is a quote here, say they truly hope we reach a resolution that is fair to the defendant and addresses the underlying problems that brought us to this point. And so I don't think by any means they're going after the maximum, but it seems like they are sending a message by filing so many charges.
It does feel like the pendulum has swung, because it was almost an identical situation about 10 years ago when this very house and this individual, how many animals did they find about 10 years ago? Wasn't it a similar number, around 150?
Yeah, it was 149. And the big difference with that case, prosecutors told me yesterday, is that back then he actually asked for help. He called another animal rescue and said, look, I'm overwhelmed. I think I have like 60 dogs. Of course, when they went to investigate, they found 149. So the big difference is he asked for help. He relinquished the dogs immediately. In this case, police say that there was a complaint that turned into a warrant, and it was discovered that way. So that's why they say there's charges this time as opposed to before.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to either one of these individuals who've been charged with these? I'm adding this up, Mike. It's between the two of them. It's 975 or so misdemeanor charges. Have either one of them spoken yet?
Right. No. I've tried to. I've knocked on the door and not found them there. Our colleague Dan Rascone was able to run into them Wednesday night, and Salgado Vargas doesn't speak a whole lot of English, but through his nephew just basically said, he didn't want to say anything.
Mike, as I was watching this video, it didn't seem like these dogs were vicious. They were following around the police officers. They were hoarding around their feet every step that they took, but it didn't look like that they were attacking. Do we know the condition of the animals right now, or what has happened to them?
Yeah, largely I've been told, and they've been divvied up between different animal rescues, Humane Society, different animal shelters, even municipal ones, and largely I've been told that they're doing remarkably well health-wise. We do know that there's one that passed away that was under the care of a foster, passed away on Wednesday. Not really clear why that happened, but it seems she just didn't recover after getting spayed. But other than that, I've been hearing that they are doing pretty well.
We're speaking live right now to KSL5 Television's Mike Anderson, who's been tracking this story and the recent developments regarding this animal situation where more than 150 dogs were pulled from a home a few weeks ago. You just heard the condition of the dogs, but the body camera footage from one of the police officers' body cams was released to the media yesterday. And it was a scene inside that home. I felt like, you almost have to see it to believe it. Because I just had absolutely no idea of the conditions inside that home for those animals. And there were also some cats inside as well. So, Mike, what happens to the home now, and what is the next move in this case against these two individuals who've been charged?
Well, yeah, the home has been shut down by the city, I believe, code enforcement. And so to reopen it, the owner would have to do a lot of things to get it clean and to get, of course, the orders out and to make it safe. So right now it remains closed. And as far as next steps for the homeowner and his nephew, he's the homeowner, Salgado Vargas, has a arraignment set for next week. I'm not seeing a day yet for his nephew, but it likely will be around the same time. So that's when they'll have a chance to plea, and it will go from there. But it sounds like that prosecutors are probably looking to look, somewhere between, not likely the maximum, but likely something that just kind of sends a message, but also addresses the possible mental issues there.
Mike Anderson, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you check out Mike's reports on KSLTV.com. This video is incredible.
Yeah. The other thing that came to mind, I said there was a number of things that came to mind when I watched this video. The other thing that popped into my mind is
We got several cats back there.
the cats,
Is that front door open?
the dogs.
Yeah?
It is a sea of animals inside that home. Is that
A lot of cats.
I've had a very difficult time over the years as a journalist, but just in my personal life, owning dogs and cats, wrapping my head around the accumulation of that many animals. And of course, referred to as hoarding. It is so difficult for me to understand that because it is so difficult for me to keep up with more than one or two animals at a time. At one point, after a really good friend of mine passed away, I was asked to take in two of her cats, and I did. And we recently, very recently, had to put the last of the two down because of age, and his life was just it had just gone straight downhill, as you know. I've told you, and we were so sad about that. But certainly, the idea of having, at that time we had to have three cats, and we had a dog. We had dog Riley, and I was overwhelmed for a couple of years. But then one by one, they got up there in age, and we had to say our goodbyes. And it just the vaccination process alone, and the keeping up with the messes that they make, and the food that they have to eat, and we love them. But to have that many is something I will just never, ever understand, because to me it is just so important. If you're going to have animals, you spay them, you neuter them, you make sure they have their rabies, you make sure you keep up a rabies vaccination, you make sure you keep up with their needs, and you can love them like they love you. And frankly, that situation that I looked at when I saw that video, Dave, is just there's no one you wouldn't even know who was who.
Yeah, you're wondering, how did we get there? And the Animal Humane Society talks about hoarding and animal hoarding, how common it is in America. They estimate somewhere around 250,000 animals are living in hoarding conditions. And they say there really falls under two types of hoarders. There's the overwhelmed caregiver, socially isolated. They believe that hoarding is only problem with other people. We take care of our animals. So the overwhelmed caregivers is the one type of hoarder. The other is the rescue hoarder, where people believe, hey, I'm not a hoarding, I'm just an animal shelter. Yeah. And we've heard from Mike Anderson's reporting, it seems like that may be the situation in Ogden. The man that has been charged actually has gone onto radio stations and talked about himself as a rescue, and that he can take in animals and he tries to foster them out, but completely and totally overwhelmed, obviously, with 156 animals living in that house.
Well, certainly more to come on that story. Thanks so much to our KSL5 Television's Mike Anderson for keeping us looped in here. Straight ahead, did President Trump just suggest to Congress to tax the rich? Let's dive into that next.
The news of the day lands harder when it affects you.
I really want our stories to focus more on the human element. Focus on how it's affecting the mom and her children. I want us to go more in depth and really take a look at what is at the heart of the story and how does it affect your pocketbook or how does it affect your lifestyle. My name is Maria Chaleos. I invite you to join us from noon to 3 for Midday right here on KSL News Radio.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Do you love your house but hate your kitchen? If you want your old kitchen or bath completely new again, totally remodeled and updated to your taste, style, and specifications in just 3 days, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. And we mean a complete custom remodel from floor to ceiling in just 3 days, including a 100% satisfaction guarantee with our quality and craftsmanship where you don't pay. No hassle, no stress. We even bring our mobile showroom to you, and you'll be our guest at the Marriott while we work our magic creating your dream kitchen or bath. Call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free copy of the Kitchen and Bath Remodeling Guide, plus $500 off a complete bathroom remodel with a kitchen and a free design consultation.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Are you looking for the perfect downtown lunch spot? The Garden Restaurant at Temple Square is opening on June 30th in Salt Lake City. Enjoy a reimagined space and a fresh, healthy menu featuring handcrafted sandwiches, rich soups, unique salads, and their famous homemade pot pies. You'll see and taste the difference in every menu item. The Garden is perfect for lunch meetings, taking a break while out shopping, or a spring stroll downtown. Visit the reimagined space with remarkable taste. Grab and go or stay and dine in using a new online ordering option. Find entry from the ground floor of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building, open Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. Visit thegardenslc.com to learn more. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant at Temple Square is opening June 30th. Hope to see you there. thegardenslc.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. A very special event is just around the corner now, and it's Mother's Day. And it's not just for the people we call Mom, It's that special woman in your life. And the people at NPS, they have a selection of things that special woman is going to absolutely love. In each and every one of their 4 stores, it's 20 to 70% off retail each and every day. But each of the stores have very special deals that go even beyond that. So if you see a wonderful deal at NPS, buy it now, because odds are it just won't be there tomorrow. The 4 locations: Salt Lake Anchor Store at 1600 South Empire Road. The industrial location is right across the street. Layton at 1150 North Main Street, and Orem 475 North State Street. It is a nice place to save. And as I mentioned, the perfect place to shop for Mother's Day. NPS.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story: Utah may soon face a gravel crisis as the amount needed for future projects overshoots approved mining and available supply. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Davis, Weber, Salt Lake, and Utah, the 4 most populated counties, have the smallest amount of sand and gravel resources, essential components for concrete, road construction, and other building projects. The Deseret News reports that currently 3 of those counties truck in materials from Tooele and Box Elder, but gravel is expensive to move with a distance of only 30 miles, doubling the price.
South Provo could soon be getting a makeover. A Walmart supercenter is pending approval to be built just north of Lakeview Parkway, according to the Daily Herald. The remaining land could be used for housing. A developer is proposing a plan to build 150 two-story townhomes along the 12.5 acres. Our top national story this hour from ABC News: President Trump is hinting at a trade deal with China. Details from ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
Just days ago, President Trump said that he would not pull back tariffs in order to have substantive negotiations with China. But now the president in this post is signaling that he'd be willing to lower tariffs to 80%. Now, what's important to acknowledge here, though, is that while 80% is a lot lower than the current 145%, 80% is still extremely high and could still be cost prohibitive to a lot of businesses.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is scheduled to meet with Chinese officials this weekend in Switzerland. Your money at this moment: the Dow is down 112 now. That's 0.25%. We're at 41,256. Coming up, we've got sunshine and heat in the forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
If you're looking for a program to lose some weight, spring's going right now, summer's right around the corner, how about Salt Lake City Fat Loss? There's a lot of programs out there, I understand. It's hard to kind of whittle down which one is going to be right for you. But if you're interested in a program that doesn't have any prepackaged meals, no insane exercising routines, no point counting, no surgery, no injections. If you're looking for those, if that checks off all your boxes, Salt Lake City Fat Loss is that program. I was on it, and it was phenomenal. I saw incredible results. They told me you'd lose up to a pound of fat per day. Many clients will lose 20, 30 pounds in just a month or two. I lost 57, and I had great energy, felt fantastic, and I wasn't starving. That was always my biggest concern. Am I just going to be starving for the next several months? No. Check out Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Go ahead and schedule a free consultation. If you do one right now, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. Just make sure you reach out. slcfatloss.com is a great way to sign up. slcfatloss.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, the delays on 500 South around 1300 East have eased up as we have most of the traffic into work now, but the roadway remains closed trying to cross over 1300 East. That is due to an event that's happening at Rice-Eccles Stadium this weekend. And then you still have plenty of delay trying to get to Maverick Center, both on 3500 South and Decker Lake Drive. That is due to graduation ceremonies. For those of you in Tooele County, most of the traffic is eased up now on SR 36, and there's no delays on any of the major freeways across the Wasatch Front. For over 30 years, Replenish Landscape offers the finest compost for flower and vegetable gardens, and perfect for tilling into existing soil or top dressing for your lawn. For delivery or pickup, visit replenishcompost.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with the highs in the low 80s, and that summer weather continues into the weekend with the highs up near 90. Right now, it's sunshine and 68 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic, special coverage of the top national story.
Did President Trump just suggest to Congress, Dave, to tax the rich? Here's the headline in the New York Times. Trump revives push for higher taxes on the rich. And we break it down a little bit more. It's like almost 40% for people, 40% tax bracket, almost, for people earning more than $2.5 million annually.
You never know what's going to come out of President Trump's mouth. This is the last thing that I expected to come out of his mouth is, well, I don't know, maybe we could tax the rich. Holy cow, like Bernie Sanders is whispering in his ear and it's coming right out of his mouth. I was just absolutely shocked, did not expect to hear this from President Trump. It must feel like a complete backstab to Republicans right now. Maybe harkens back to 1988. You remember when George H.W. Bush made these comments on the campaign trail?
My opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
He gets elected, he wins, and then what did he do? He raised taxes. And it was largely considered the number one thing that caused him to lose that second term. And how about this? He raised taxes, the maximum tax on the rich. He did the exact same thing. He raised it from 28% to 31%. This proposal would raise it to nearly 40%.
The Washington Post, I thought, did a really good job kind of breaking down in a nutshell with a graphic, Dave, about different elements of President Trump's tax plan. Am I remembering that right? You've got it in front of you, don't you?
Yeah,
there's a lot of. Walk us through some of it.
This
is just one of the ideas.
Yes. It's just one of the ideas because there are tax cuts that he enacted back in 2017. Right, there were massive tax cuts. You saw it happen on your taxes. Standard deductions went up, so there was a lot of things that went on, but those have carried on. It even carried those tax cuts carried through the Biden administration. Well, those are supposed to end this year. So he wants to extend those. So that's the tax cut. You've got additional tax cuts to overtime. So there would be no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on tips. That was a very popular one on the campaign trail.
So let's back it up to no taxes on overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That would most likely affect people who are pulling in an hourly wage, who are paid by the hour. So to your point about earlier, you made sort of a comment that maybe this sounds like more of like something that Bernie Sanders would come up with. That does seem to be like something maybe a Democrat would lean into, is no tax on overtime to help those who are working those hourly jobs, sometimes working 2 or 3 hourly jobs, and then no tax on Social Security, which would help those on a fixed income.
No taxes on overtime? I mean, these are really big tax cuts. But when you are lowering the revenue, right? If you remove overtime, Social Security, tips, if you're removing all of that revenue that you're bringing in, well, you've got to make it up somewhere else. You can only cut so much money in the federal government, and you've seen Elon Musk and President Trump completely lean into efficiency and cutting waste in the government, and it has made billions of dollars of difference. And we need to make trillions of dollars a difference.
If you're just joining us right now, we're talking about President Trump floating the idea to Congress about taxing the rich. You earn more than $2.5 million a year, you would be potentially thrust into a higher tax bracket.
Multiple reports say President Trump is pushing Congress to create a new income bracket for people who make more than $2.5 million a year. Those people would face a higher tax rate of about 40% compared to 37% now. The move comes as Congress considers whether to extend Trump's first-term tax cuts.
That's our report that we got in-house from ABC News. Billy Hesterman, president of the Utah Taxpayers Association. What was your initial reaction when you saw this?
It's surprising. It seems like we all thought President Trump was going to ask everyone or ask Congress to put through his big, beautiful bill of tax cuts. And this certainly feels like one change where he's, turning away from what he said he was going to do.
What shocks me is it sounds like very much, I mentioned Bernie Sanders earlier, but cutting taxes on overtime Social Security and tips and then raising taxes on the rich. Isn't that straight out of the Bernie Sanders playbook?
It sure feels that way. I mean, when you look at what the Tax Foundation does a report on how much everyone pays their share of the income tax, that top 1% pays 40% of the income tax money. The top 5% pays 61% of it. So to say that, the rich aren't paying their fair share maybe isn't the right way to put it. But right now, this feels more political, that President Trump wants to just get the people who say he just gave a tax cut to the rich off his back so that they'll like him more for the upcoming 3 years.
He posts on social media, he said, in any event, Republicans should probably not do it. And then in the next sentence writes, I'm okay if they do. So I felt when I read that, I was like, that's a bit of a mixed message. Either he's going to lean into the idea of taxing those who, make a lot more money than most people do, or not. But he's sending this message on his Truth Social platform that seems to be he's okay with either way. What do you make of that, Billy?
I really wish that he would, to use what's been said before, lean more into cutting spending and fixing the deficit and looking for ways to balance the budget. I think our country can really be better served with leaders who are looking for ways to make sure that we aren't in debt for the rest of our time that we are as a country, and that we're looking for ways to cut spending and not grow government as high. And I hope that he finds a way to get there, but that's not what this sounds like right now.
Billy, as I look over the last 40 years, and let's talk about the rich again, and, $2.5 million. In 1990, the top tax rate for the rich was 70%. President Reagan scales that back to the high 20s, and then now we're back up possibly in the 40% tax bracket. I guess what is just so staggering to me is to think that 4 out of every $10, or back in the 80s, 7 out of every $10 was going to the government. It is just an unbelievable amount of money. Even though making millions is obviously huge money, that is staggering to think that amount of money is being taxed.
It really is. It's mind-blowing to think about. That's almost half your workday that you'd be doing even as a millionaire that is going back to the federal government. And then when you add your state and local taxes on top of it, it becomes even more so. And not that, they probably feel it less than most of our average families do because they do have so much, but that doesn't necessarily make it fair. And we want to make sure we have a fair system, not one that just penalizes those who can stomach it better than others.
Billy Hesterman, thank you so much for joining us, President with the Utah Taxpayers Association.
Dave, this is being floated right now, right?
It's a soft launch. That soft launch might get scrambled.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Of course, one of the stories we'll be tracking all weekend long right here at KSL News Radio and have more on next week on the show is that China and the United States have agreed to meet in Geneva, Switzerland, at least send representatives to start negotiating, perhaps, around tariffs. So much more to come on that in the days ahead. But next, you're going to hear what Elizabeth Smart had to say about a recent arrest and release of one of her 2 kidnappers. It was Wanda Barzee, who police say was spotted at 2 parks in Salt Lake City last month. Barzee, not allowed to be in parks.
Her justification was that she was commanded by the Lord, which unfortunately is very familiar to me and is probably the most concerning thing because that's how they justified kidnapping me.
You know how they always used to ask you in grade school, what do you want to be when you grow up? I bet I'm the only kid who ever stood proud and said, I want to be a rain gutter or siding installer. Jim Jr. here with RGS Exteriors, and man, I can still remember all those wannabe astronauts and quarterbacks looking at me like I was an idiot. Who would want to install rain gutters or siding? Somebody who was a 4th generation in business. That's who. My great-grandfather, T.R. Brown, started the company in the 50s. Then my grandfather took over from him, then my dad, Tim Sr., and now I've been at the helm since 2005. Every day I wake up and think, man, I'm living the dream. And now my own kids are starting to work in the business too. 5 generations. If you want gutters, siding, windows, or any exteriors on your home, and a company that really cares deep down to our souls, give RGS a call. 801-280-3110 or find us online, rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com. 801-280-3110, rgsutah.com.
Life can feel hard or overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to face things alone. Getting help for yourself or someone you're worried about starts with a call or text to 988, where you always have someone to talk to, someone to help you, and somewhere safe to go. 988 Utah is here for anyone experiencing mental health challenges or emotional distress. 988 Utah can even help you navigate how to support your struggling loved ones. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, trained professionals are ready to listen and provide free, confidential support 24/7. Utah, don't hesitate to call or text 988 for you or someone you care about. The caring staff at 988 Utah can connect you to the right resources. Learn more at 988.utah.gov.
David Dujanovic.
It has been more than 2 decades, but generally most places you go, if you happen to mention the name Elizabeth Smart, most people know exactly who she is. Kidnapped from her own bedroom in 2002 in Salt Lake City at the hands of 2 individuals, Brian David Mitchell and Wanda Barzee, holding her captive, chaining her at times. There was sexual abuse involved. She survives. She finds a way to convince these 2 who'd taken her to California at some point during this horrific ordeal to return to Salt Lake City, knowing in her own mind that would be the only way that she had hope for being found by somebody who might recognize her. And she does that. And these 2 are arrested, and the process to get them to prison winds its way through the courts. Barzee serves her time. And then last month, Dave, as we've been reporting, she is spotted, according to the Salt Lake City Police Department, in 2 parks, Sugar House and Liberty Park. And according to the booking document, that she believed that she was commanded by the Lord to go to these parks, and she was sitting on the benches and feeding the ducks.
And as a member of the, or someone that is on the sex offender registry, as you were saying, not allowed to be there, not ever allowed to be there. And sure, you may say, she was just feeding the ducks. What's the big deal? We don't know. That was her excuse. We don't know if she had other plans. We don't know, because the benefit of the doubt for Wanda Barzee, that left. She's lost that trust. So where my heart goes out is to Elizabeth Smart. This is an individual who tormented her for 9 months, absolutely in the most horrific ways. And she should be able to forget about these two individuals, Brian David Mitchell, Wanda Barzee. But when they violate parole, when these things happen, they feel compelled. The Smart family feels compelled to go out there and remind everybody, this is still worth talking about.
Elizabeth posted about a 2.5-minute video. I saw it on Instagram early this morning. And as Elizabeth has done all along, she handles herself with grace and hope for other victims and help for other victims. And, she started the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. She gets out there and works on behalf of victims, and I want to say actually survivors. This video just gripped me, and I want to play the entire 2.5 minutes because she addresses the need for the system to handle these situations in a way that keeps the victims and the survivors first and foremost. So let's listen to the video, and then we're going to bring you up to speed on actually what's going on with the case involving Wanda Barzee.
I feel like I've been vocal about my concerns since Barzee's initial release, and this incident confirms exactly why. I am so grateful to the Salt Lake Police Department and Chief Red for their quick and professional response. They handled this situation with a trauma-informed approach, which means so much to me personally. When authorities take these situations, these violations seriously, it sends a very powerful message that survivor safety matters. My case received so much attention, but the sad truth is that most survivors never see their perpetrators arrested, let alone convicted. For many survivors of sexual violence, we have more of a legal system than a justice system. This incident highlights exactly why we need to center survivors in our legal processes. We often understand the risk others may overlook, frankly. I urge policymakers and justice officials to view this as a reminder that sex offender registries and release conditions exist for important reasons. When community leaders and institutions come together with a shared commitment, real change, it actually is possible. I believe in a future where all survivors can be heard, believed, and supported. That is what we are working towards in the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. That's why we started the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. And personally, this situation for me, I turn back to the advice my own mother gave me the day after I was rescued, where she said, they've already stolen 9 months of your life away from you. Do not let them steal another second. You need to move forward with your life and you need to be happy. And I have always tried to follow that advice to the best of my ability. So although this situation has arisen, I refuse to live my life in fear.
Such an important message where she says the rules that are in place for the sex offender registry, they exist for important reasons, and why it's crucial that you take these violations seriously.
Yeah. She was 14 years old when this happened. And she has had just a number of years that she has just handled this with grace and in reaching out to others to make sure that survivors are recognized and that things are handled properly when it comes to survivors. And she said it very well, that it's more of a criminal or legal system than a justice system when it comes to survivors of assault and kidnapping. So I have been keeping in touch with the district attorney here based on this case, because I want to make sure that we find out what is going on with Wanda Barzee. She's 79 years old. She is on the sex offender registry. She was caught, according to the Salt Lake City Police Department, visiting 2 parks, not allowed to do that. Said she was commanded to be there by the Lord, sit on the benches and feed the ducks. And so what we need to find out in this justice system, which we have to lean into, we need a justice system for survivors. What is the next step? What's the next step for Barzee? Is it that she gets is it that she gets a good talking to? Is that enough? Is it potentially putting her on some sort of an ankle monitoring device, like what Ed Smart, Elizabeth Smart's dad, told us earlier this week?
I don't think you ever escape from these types of things in life. Our concern really is that she doesn't have an opportunity of harming another child. So really the bottom line, when you hear about California releasing all these sex offenders, this is something that, happens all over the place. The issue is, can we keep the children safe? When she starts using the terms, God told me to, I think that we can't allow that excuse to, condone her behavior. And if she gets the ankle bracelet put back on her and continues to violate that, then she should go back to jail.
And we're still waiting to hear what that decision is from the prosecutor's office.
And part of the reason this is so important, and I thought Elizabeth mentioned this and articulated it beautifully, not every one of these violations gets the level of scrutiny that this one does, because this and her story was so nationally recognized. This can't just be a crackdown on the infamous cases. It has to be justice for all the survivors.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
That's right. It's me again. And I'm at J&J Garden Center in Layton, the best place to shop for Mother's Day, where they have something special for every mom, and of course at a special price. Right now, all hanging baskets are 20% off. All flats of flowering bedding plants are just $22.98, and all 4.5-inch geraniums are 20% off too. That's incredible. J&J Garden Center definitely has the best products at the best price, so give Mom something special this Mother's Day with a special purchase from J&J Garden Center in Layton. Take the Layton Parkway exit, Main Street to Gentile, then west 2 miles. You've got to see it to believe it. You really do.
Country grown to your home, J&J Garden Center.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story, Elizabeth Smart is speaking out after one of her kidnappers was arrested again. Police accused Wanda Barzee of going to a public park, which is illegal because she is a registered sex offender. Elizabeth Smart thanked police in a video on her foundation's Instagram page and said she's still committed to never letting her kidnappers steal another moment of her life from her.
Although this situation has arisen, I refuse to live my life in fear. I refuse to allow anyone to stop me from living.
She also urged lawmakers and justice workers to use this as a reminder of why sex offender registries and release terms are important. A motorcyclist is dead after he was hit by a car in Sandy yesterday afternoon. The driver of the vehicle was not injured and is cooperating with the investigation. The name of the man who died has not yet been released. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, President Trump has floated the idea of cutting tariffs on China from 145% to 80% ahead of a weekend trade meeting with Chinese officials. The meeting will take place in Switzerland in the first major talks between the two nations since the tariff trade war began. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off 40 points right now. That's 0.1%. We're at 41,328. Coming up, extra warm for Mother's Day. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. Our show live today from My Hearing Centers in Sandy. We're joined now by Brandon from My Hearing Centers. Brandon, you can give Mom a lot of gifts for Mother's Day, but you can't often give them something like the ability to hear things they couldn't hear before.
Yeah, I think if you really want your spouse to have a great Mother's Day, it would probably be to let her know that you care about what she's saying and that you're paying attention and that you can hear what she's actually wanting for Mother's Day. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, so let's talk about what deal you guys have today and why that's significant when we talk about Mother's Day and hearing.
Yeah, so... like we've talked about a lot of times on these shows, the primary focus of hearing devices is to help you understand what it is you hear. A lot of people hear things, they just don't really know what it is. It's not real clear. And so a lot of these new devices like the BCT that recently came out with Signia, it's got voice recognition, really long rechargeable battery life, so you can, stream your movie show or whatever that is.
Which is what we recommend you use your hearing aids for. When you Bluetooth it to your phone, it's to stream the movie show.
It's to stream the movie show. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can stream all of that and still have a long battery life, and just really good connectivity with all of those. And the sound is phenomenal, so if you're not hearing very well, if things aren't real clear, get in. Let us test your hearing. You get a 30-day trial with these hearing aids. It's risk-free. We're committed to making sure that you can hear those who matter most in your life.
And that's what I think is really cool. As we've talked with you guys before, the hearing test that you do, you have somebody come, a family member, a loved one, you're probably your closest family member, come with you, because that's the voice that you want to test most, that the brain recognizes.
Yeah, 100%.
By the way, is it possible that people in movies are mumbling now more than they have before? Is that possible?
Well, you're the movie show guy. I don't know.
Oh, see,
maybe.
Put that one right back on you. Well, here's the deal. If you call in today during the movie show, My Hearing Centers is offering anybody who calls an appointment to get a no-cost hearing evaluation for you or a family member, and you'll have a chance to test out these cutting-edge hearing aids that we've been talking about, risk-free for 30 days. But you got to call during the movie show to get this free deal. The number is 801-701-1629. That's 801-701-1629.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And back to you, Heather.
Well, we've got delays northbound I-15 as you leave 5600 South in Roy and head up toward 31st Street in Ogden. This is in the road construction zone. Looks like they've reduced the road again to just 2 lanes northbound, so that's causing a bit of backup in the area. And we have a crash in the final cleanup stages in Taylorsville. This is right in the middle of the intersection of 6200 South, 2700 West. The last of the emergency vehicles are just now pulling away, but you still have some residual delays eastbound on 6200 South trying to get to 2700 West. Everyone else is moving along nicely. UDOT construction alert, plan ahead as up to 3 lanes on I-15 from 7200 South in Midvale to 90th South in Sandy will be closed at night for paving. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll have a high today of 82 degrees, which is well above normal. Then Saturday and Sunday will be close to 90. The KSL Weather Center says we typically don't see our first 90-degree day until mid-June. Right now, sunshine and 68 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Let's talk about roundabouts. When I saw Alex Cabrera's story on KSL 5 News, I was like, oh, roundabouts, you run me around because you are so random. And in Eagle Mountain, according to Alex, they're taking out a roundabout. They're getting rid of the thing.
Which is hilarious because I thought we were trying to move toward adding more roundabouts in. We want more roundabouts, not less roundabouts, but they are full on chopping this bad boy up and they are removing it, replacing it with traffic lights. And I am gravely disappointed anytime we move away from roundabouts because I think they are slam dunk, home run, amazing engineering.
So let's talk about that before we get into the more of the details about Alex's story and like how they came to this conclusion in Eagle Mountain, which is like one of the fastest growing cities, in Utah County, probably along the Wasatch Front. You like them?
Love them. I don't like them, Debbie. I
Ooh.
love them like a newborn baby.
This is going to be fun.
No, these are outstanding.
In a few minutes, let's take live calls. Are you on Team Dave or are you on Team Deb? Dave loves roundabouts. Deb feels like roundabouts are random. They give me the runaround. I'm going to explain more on that in just a moment. Why do you love them so much?
Number one, it allows me most of the time to just keep going. And I love that. I don't like this stopping at a stop sign, looking both ways. Largely, you can just, if it's not a busy road, you can just keep moving. You have to slow down, though. That's great. Slowing down is fantastic.
Oh.
But the huge thing is the numbers, and maybe this is the baseball fan in me. I
Okay.
love to break down the numbers. They are so incredibly safe. They will reduce traffic fatalities and crashes by 80% when you replace traffic lights with roundabouts. They are not just a slam dunk. They are as good an engineering design as you can have. Let me just put this out there. When you have a traffic light, you have 32 danger spots.
Well, could you
points.
go through each one of them?
Okay, so you've got the one turning left, then the one turning right, then the one's going. There's
if you drive, you know.
Yeah, there's 32. They've. You should see the little chart on there. It's just it looks like this unbelievable like dot game. 32 intersection or points of conflict. With the roundabout, you have 8.
Okay.
So let's just lean into it. Sometimes we just say, "Oh, they're awkward, they're weird. I can't keep track of who has the right of way." Well, we got to learn. We got to teach because they are so much safer.
Roundabouts are kind of like the melatonin of traffic, right? You know, for the
5 milligrams here,
5
10
milligrams. Well,
milligrams there.
it just calms.
Yeah.
Right. It gets a little sleepy when people are going so fast down the road, and then they get to a roundabout, and it's kind of like a natural calming of traffic. So I could see where the number of crashes would be reduced because people, I notice it a lot in Utah. People try to scramble through the yellow or even through the red. I saw somebody run a red light the other day, and I was like, is it worth it?
They'll be going 50, 60
is it
miles
worth
an
it?
hour through that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that through a roundabout. You'd flip.
So I'm on.
I haven't won you over yet?
No,
Okay.
you are on Team Loves the Roundabouts. I am on Team Roundabouts. I'm tired of you giving me the runaround. 801-575-TALK. Do you love them? Or are you like me? I don't hate them. I have a hard time getting that kind of emotion involved in things like roundabouts. But I dislike them, mainly because they're so random. 801-575-TALK. We're going to take your live calls in just a few minutes. And only text us at 57500 if it's safe to do so. We do not want you driving and texting ever. At 57500. Live phone calls as well in just a few minutes, 801-575-TALK. I live in the land of roundabouts. When I moved to South Jordan, I didn't know what I was in for. But they are random, even though they do lean into roundabouts more than maybe any other city I've seen. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs. I spend occasionally like a Saturday morning there. Because I go to Zumba in Saratoga Springs. So sometimes I'll go into the community, the city of Eagle Mountain as well. So I don't know how the peppering of roundabouts is spread out across those areas. But I do know South Jordan because I live there. And there is a roundabout that I'm sure has been there for a while. I don't know how long, but it was probably put there when daybreak wasn't quite the buzz it is. And occasionally, especially if I leave my house at a certain time of the evening, like 5 o'clock-ish during rush hour when everybody's trying to rush home, this roundabout is it's quite frankly, it's a pain. It's hard to get into the roundabout. There's also a lot of people who don't understand how to use the roundabout. And so when it says a word like, let's say it says the word like yield on the pavement, that means the person who's driving currently in the roundabout has the right of way. It doesn't mean you get to sneak into the roundabout and cut them off so then they can't go through the roundabout to exit on the other side. because then what happens to the person who is legally has the right of way in the roundabout? They got to keep going round and round and round in circles. And that has happened to me so many times when somebody enters the roundabout and they're not supposed to enter the roundabout. The problem with the roundabout is there aren't enough of them. I don't want more of them. I'm not saying but there aren't enough of them for people to use them enough to get used to the roundabout. They're just random.
I agree. No, you're totally right.
I don't know when we started leaning into roundabouts in this community, but was there some sort of occasional a committee that met, but then another city didn't send in members to the committee that day to show that one city's going all in on the roundabouts and then another city ain't going in on the roundabouts? It doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to me. Now, maybe there's a traffic expert out there who says, oh, yeah, no, this was part of the master plan, Deb, back in 1995. We decided we're going to start going with the roundabout. We're going to go the roundabout route. But it does feel very random. I think that's a big part of the problem.
Well, I think you hit it spot on because I lived in an area where they added a roundabout as an afterthought. We lived in this neighborhood for 40 years. They finally decided this intersection needs a roundabout. The problem is roundabouts take up a lot more space. So you have to start ripping into people's yards and expanding it into a much larger area. So when you do it as the initial plan, like they did in Daybreak, it's far easier than trying to go back and recreate one.
So let's get with Alex Cabrero of KSL5 Television to find out why the roundabout in Eagle Mountain is going away.
We have our roundabout, which has really been a traffic landmark in our city of sorts.
Yes, the roundabout at Eagle Mountain Boulevard and Pony Express Parkway. It's been there since before this area had any traffic. But this morning, crews began tearing it out.
Eagle Mountain has grown immensely in its population in the last several years.
With Eagle Mountain now pushing 75,000 people, City Communications Manager Tyler Maffett says traffic is backing up here during the morning and evening commutes. So the city decided traffic lights would be better. On the city's Facebook page, the change sparked plenty of opinions. Laura Van Zomeren wrote, "I'm glad to see us getting a light because nobody knows how to use a roundabout properly." But Jonathan Aldridge had a different take. He wrote, "Roundabouts are one of the few intersection types that actually incentivizes slowing down. Almost impossible to speed through it. Lights, however, are perfect for speeding." Even still, Maffett says once it's all done, drivers will notice the difference.
This intersection is really going to be faster. It's going to be safer, both for motorists and pedestrians. And I think residents are going to see a benefit in the not too distant future.
We're taking your phone calls right now, 801-575-TALK. We'd love to hear from you. Let's start off with Becky in Eagle Mountain. I love them. Debbie's
not so
much. Where do you land, Becky?
I'm mixed. I love that roundabout because most times of day when I'm traveling that direction, it's quick. It gets me right through. But there are some times of day, like when the employees are headed out to their shift start at a major employer out there, where people will use the right-hand only turn lane and create two lanes and cut right ahead of you to go straight. And it's kind of scary.
Right.
So I think my opinion is I wish that they could just improve it and educate people and keep the roundabout.
Thanks, Becky. Have a good weekend. Appreciate your phone call. 801-575-TALK. We're taking live phone calls. Weigh in. Do you love roundabouts? That's what Dave does. He loves them. Me, not so much. We're going to continue taking live calls in a minute, but Dave, you've got a thought.
There's a learning curve, no question, with roundabouts. And when you start adding multi-lane roundabouts, it's exponentially harder. I absolutely will agree with folks on this. When you start adding 4 lanes,
harder.
I know they're already tricky. Yeah, they're already tricky. But if you've got like 4 lanes coming in on each side,
I get dizzy just thinking about it.
Yes, and part of the problem is
I get physically nervous when I approach a roundabout like that because there's so few of them.
Yeah.
And the 2-lane ones, I know somebody's going to squeeze in there and cut me out. I might as well just cut me off. I might as well just plan on just going around in circles in the roundabout. It just is so I don't know if you think you can cut and that's okay because there's no traffic light or a stop sign to tell you to knock it off. But those 2-lane, are there 4-lane roundabouts?
Oh, yeah.
That would give me a migraine.
It's basically 2 in, 2 out on each side, but do you know how to use them? No. We don't know how to use them.
Don't say you do.
No, you don't. And you're like, well, can I do a loop? How many loops can I do? Can I do 4 loops? How do I get out of this place? Now I'm dizzy. But there are 32 conflict points. I just can't harp on this enough. When you have a signaled intersection, 32 conflict points. Think of the top speed going through that intersection with a light.
You're right.
50, 60 miles an hour as people are speeding through. What is the top speed on a roundabout? It's a fraction of that because you cannot go that fast. You would flip your car.
You know so many times I felt like, am I on all 4 wheels? I'm not going that fast. Am I on all 4 wheels? Is gravity working here? Yes. It's just you have to cut that corner so tight. Hi, Jason. It sounds like we're almost neighbors. You live in South Jordan.
Yes, we are. And I encounter some of those same roundabouts as you, and I love them.
You do?
They help slow down traffic. You don't have to worry about someone running the yellow light.
I know. What about that one on Daybreak Parkway, though, off Ochre Lake Drive right there? I think it's Ochre Lake Drive.
Yeah.
It gets messy.
It does get messy at times, and sometimes, you have to wait a little bit longer than maybe you'd like to, but I still think it's just a safer alternative. And you get enough gaps that, like if you're heading down to the district, you can still do it safely.
No.
The key...
I feel like I'm playing dodgeball back in 5th grade sometimes. Like, can I sneak in here? And then you got the person behind you kind of pushing you through. Yeah.
That's probably me pushing you through.
Yeah, it probably is.
Get a move on. Beep,
Yeah.
beep. But don't we have those same experiences with the lights as well? If you're trying to make that left-hand turn, you're out there, the light's changing, you feel like you're the lone man on the island, then like 2 more cars behind you are zipping through trying to make that left-hand turn. The numbers are outstanding for roundabouts when it comes to safety. 80 to 90% reduction in fatal crashes. And that right there tells me this is something that can be learned, and we should invest in it. It does surprise me that they're removing a roundabout, though. I get it. When you have multi-lane roundabouts, it can get overcrowded.
Well, but in a rush hour, they can back up, and especially if there's not enough room or another road for the traffic to go on to, it gets messy. Matthew, Cottonwood Heights, the city with one roundabout on Bengal Boulevard, which they finally put in right next to the high school there, Matthew, after I moved. Like, I lived in Cottonwood Heights for almost 30 years, and then they finally put that roundabout in. Do you love it?
They did, right there.
You love it?
I do love it.
I
right
bet.
There by Brighton High School. My
that
daughter's
works
a
there.
student there.
Yeah, that works there. That was a messy
It does.
intersection there off of 2300 East, and then the kids coming out of the school there. So you're on Team Roundabout, huh?
I am. I feel it's very much eased congestion in that area. And also, I don't know if you discussed this. Forgive me. I just am joining. But I'm on the road a lot for my work, and up by the Capitol especially, where they've added that new roundabout. Man, I have seen a lot less congestion, a lot less traffic, a lot less backup. So I'm definitely for it, and just thought I'd share my opinion on that.
Love it.
First of all, you're not Team Roundabout. You're Team Dave. let's make that very clear. You're Team Dave. So thanks a lot.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for calling in on the fly like that. Love it. And yeah, I lived up in Cottonwood Heights, right off of Bengal Boulevard, for a lot of years. My kids went to Brighton High School, and that roundabout was not there until well after they graduated. I still go to Cottonwood Heights frequently, so I've used that roundabout, and I rather enjoy it. I think there are certain circumstances where roundabouts really, really work. Matthew correctly pointed out the one up at the top of State Street, Capitol Hill. That's great. It was so messy for so many years. I never remembered, like, who has to stop. It was a 3-way stop. It was just an odd intersection. The roundabout makes things work a lot more seamlessly. Cottonwood Heights makes sense because of that weird intersection. If you haven't been there, it's too complicated for me to start even explaining it to you, how wild that intersection was. I'm like, but on 106 South and South Jordan, come on. Come on. You're going 35, 40 miles an hour. I think it's 35 miles an hour, and then they're you got to, then you get a roundabout, and then you go, another roundabout. That's what I'm talking about. The randomness of it is, and South Jordan leans into roundabouts. What's up with you, Sandy? What are you doing about roundabouts? You know what I mean? Like, how about South Salt Lake? Where are all your roundabouts? Salt Lake City. I don't see a lot of roundabouts when I drive around about Salt Lake City.
It does encourage some bad behavior. One texter says, and this one resonates with me, Team Dave, roundabouts are my personal lagoon. I have grandkids, and I just keep going round and round and round until my wife swears or the kid throws up. It's great.
Oh, they're going to nab you for cruising. They're going to nab you for cruising the
Cruising
roundabout. Hi, Charlene. You're going to squeeze you in on this Friday. Good morning. You love roundabouts or you don't like them?
I'm okay with roundabouts. It's the people that drive through them that drive me crazy. They can't read. They don't know the speed limits, and they don't understand yield.
Right.
Why can't we get that? Well, it's because it is a little tricky. Four-way stop sign, we yield right. It's hard to get in our brains. When I'm in a roundabout, you're yielding left.
Let's just wait your turn. Like, wait your turn and make sure the person who's already rounding the roundabout doesn't want to exit the roundabout where you're trying to yield into the roundabout. Look, there's plenty of people who don't know how to read the word stop on a red stop sign. Let's face it, right? They coast on through it or they speed on through it. They tap their brakes and they keep going. So I think there's a lot of people out there who want to sneak into the roundabout too. And what that does is just ends up pushing me into the roundabout because I can't get out of the roundabout.
And then you're just spinning round, round, round.
I'm dizzy talking about the roundabout. Oh, that came on really loud. Sorry, guys.
Can you turn that up?
I'm so sorry. That's how loud I
Blasting the music
listen
in
to
the
radio
car.
in my car with my windows down while I'm twisting through the roundabouts in South Jordan this weekend.
The main character in every news story is a real person.
I want people who listen to Midday to listen to the show and think it is about them. They're hearing a story that touches them in some way.
The main character in every news story is you.
Whether it is their pocketbook, whether it is their child's safety, people should hear something that is more thought-provoking.
Midday with Maria Chaleos. All new noon to 3 on KSL News Radio.
Troy, can you believe Memorial Day is almost here?
Pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting?
Yeah.
That's all you got for the official start to camping season and our entire reason for living?
I am excited, yes. What do you want from me?
Get pumped, man. It's camping Christmas. Kind of a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge flippin' deal. That's why Bish's is already celebrating Memorial Day with big deals on all RVs. We're selling travel trailers starting under $139 per month on approved credit.
And don't forget no tariff fees on new in-stock RVs.
Plus 90 days of all play and no pay OAC.
And clearance pricing on all remaining 2024s while they last.
We're even delivering select RVs same day so you can camp right away.
Same day camping? That is a big flippin' deal.
Told you, camping season is a big deal. So come get the real big deals during the Memorial Day sales event happening right now at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin.
Based on approved credit, 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock number is 90452-81733. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Jason.
And Kathy of Window World.
Mom, it almost happened again.
What almost happened, Jason?
A customer almost didn't choose us because he was shocked our prices were so low.
Oh, no. What did you tell him?
I told him I could charge him more if he wanted me to, or he could spend the savings on something awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. What did he say?
He decided to save thousands of dollars and get a whole house of amazing windows with Window World.
Call 281-8111.
Window World. Simply the best. And as Doug always said, that's no baloney.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Well, the movie show coming up in 30 minutes here on KSL News Radio. We're broadcasting live from My Hearing Centers with a deal for KSL listeners today. For this Mother's Day weekend, you got to call in, though, between now and the end of the movie show at 1 o'clock to My Hearing Centers to take advantage of an offer to get a no-cost hearing evaluation for you or a loved one and the chance to test out the cutting-edge hearing aids risk-free for 30 days. But you got to call between now and the end of the movie show. And here's the other really cool part. If you make that appointment and you go through the process, they're going to throw in a pair of movie tickets at the end of it because that's how they are. They're generous like that. Brandon, tell us about somebody makes that appointment. What are you going to talk to them about when they come in?
We're going to, start out by just going over what are the main areas that you're struggling with. Why is your spouse thinking that you're not paying attention or ignoring them? And
so you're a marriage counselor?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I have a welcome to couples therapy hat I put on many times. So, but yeah, we're going to just kind of go through, do a case history, briefly, and then put them in the sound booth, test their hearing, find out what's going on and what they're missing. And then if it appears that they have enough of a hearing loss that they benefit from a hearing aid, we'll put one on them. We'll see how it sounds. They'll be able to see how their spouse's voice sounds, how much different that is for a lot of people because this kind of creeps up on us pretty slowly. Mm-hmm. Typically, they're just missing that clarity. And so, most people are really surprised at what they're missing. When we lose our hearing, we aren't missing out on the loud sounds. It's those soft sounds that we don't hear, which is the consonants or the clarity, right? So we'll try that out. We'll see how they're doing. If it looks like something that they're going to benefit from, then we'll send them home with some hearing aids to work with over the next 30 days. And, it's all risk-free. We'll see how they do. And, if they're successful with it, they'll stick with it.
Are people usually surprised when they finally hear things like that with that clarity?
Yeah, almost always.
Yeah, that's for sure. Awesome. And that's why I say this is a great gift to give a loved one, a chance to hear the things that they didn't realize they were missing. So here's how you do it. You call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. That's 801-701-1629. But you got to do it before the end of the movie show at 1 o'clock to take advantage of this free offer.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story, the St. George Ironman is leaving Utah following its final race this weekend. Chad McWilliams with Greater Zion Convention and Tourism Office says before deciding to stop the Ironman, they met with each of the cities the race runs through.
Over the years' time, we met with them several times. We looked at also the amount of athletes since 2010, what our yearly average was. We looked at the economic impact for each year compared to the dollars that we were spending to put on the event and to market the event.
McWilliams says Washington County's growth also played a factor, with homes and businesses now lining more parts of the race. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, a day of celebration kicked off this morning in Chicago's Catholic community as they mark the election of Pope Leo XIV.
Today is obviously a day of great joy. It's a day of great celebration.
That's Bishop Lawrence J. Sullivan leading a special service today in Chicago, which is the Pope's hometown. Catholic students in Utah are excited to see the religion's first Pope from the United States. Juan Diego Catholic School senior Ella DeVere tells KSL TV she feels this Pope will bring Catholics in the nation closer together.
I just think he is a really big role model, especially for American Catholics, because we can relate.
Teachers at the school say they're adjusting their lessons to teach about the new Pope. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 165 right now. That's 0.4%. We're at 41,203. Coming up, warm but a bit breezy for Mother's Day. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
It's springtime in the Rockies, and it's time to apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment. A Revive treatment with fertilization, aeration, and good watering is the key to building stronger roots for a healthy, lush green lawn. Revive fertilizes and moves water and nutrients deeper into the soil. Take advantage of spring storms with an application of Revive now. Protect yourself from drought later this summer and skyrocketing water costs. With Revive, if you water 2 times a week, it's like watering 4. Apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment today. It works.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here's Heather Kelly.
We still have delays northbound I-15 in Weber County. They start just after 650 North in Clearfield and head almost up to 31st Street in Ogden. It's due to lane restrictions within the road construction zone. So you're down to just 2 lanes, 2 left lanes of travel, and that is bunching everybody up at the moment. Everybody else is traveling at speed on the I-15 corridor, both directions throughout Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties. No problems right now on the east or west side belt routes. The secret to healthy, thriving plants is great soil. Oakdale Farms Organic Compost is a game changer for your veggie garden. Flower beds and trees, Oakdale Farms Organic Compost at oakdale.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to feel like summer this weekend with the highs near 90 Saturday and Sunday. A little breezy on Sunday as a storm system moves in. We'll have rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, it's 71 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Here we are, just a couple of days out from Mother's Day, and so I thought it would be fun to discuss the irony of the amount of money we spend on the woman who tells us not to buy her a gift. I don't know of a mother who says, oh, yes, buy me all the gifts for Mother's Day. Most moms I know would say, I don't want a gift. It's okay. I don't want to put you out. No, keep your money. Save your money, child.
I need more of those mamas in my life.
Last year, according to
mine have expectations, Deb.
Last year, according to USA Today, Americans spent $33.5 billion on Mother's Day.
It's because it's exponential. It grows so much. Because it's not just enough for me to get something for my mom. I got to get something for my mother-in-law, my grandmother, my wife, and then on like 12 different sides of the family, it's like the Oprah. You get a gift, everybody gets a gift.
Okay. Why do you do it?
It's Mother's Day, and you're a monster if you don't give out
gifts. You're trying to keep the peace, aren't you? You're trying to keep the peace.
No. It's because I want to, Debbie. There's love in my heart that I want to share with them.
So you aren't on the receiving end of the don't buy me any gifts.
I have never once heard the, hey, please don't get me any gifts.
Interesting, because I'm the first one to tell my kids, please don't. Please don't. Just having you in my life is enough for me. It's a gift every single day. I get to wake up and say to the world, you are my child. So I was thinking about, like, why do we have this mentality as moms? I'll just speak for myself. Because, I think back to raising kids and how much trauma sometimes it was. The time we thought we'd lost our little Katie somewhere in the front yard, and she was like right there. For whatever reason, she was so brilliantly hiding. And I ran down the street on a hot pavement in bare feet, screaming for my child. Well, she was fine. She was right there. But yet when she wants to thank me for running down the street in bare feet and the millions of other things that I did while raising her to make sure she was safe and sound, I'm like, no, don't bother. It's all right. Do not reward me. Just being your mom is enough. So I think the right answer isn't, no, don't buy me a gift. I think that my right answer should be, buy me something meaningful, but don't break the bank doing it. But the average person is spending about $250 on Mother's Day, and I think that's just outrageous.
That's a chunk, yeah.
It's a chunk.
Okay, this is where I see value in Mother's Day, Father's Day, all these. I think you want it to be a recognition. You don't necessarily want it to be a reward. The recognition is great. Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe this is a great reminder. Call your parent up, call your mom up, tell her why you love her. Be specific. Generic I love yous don't work. Hey, Mom, this is what I love about you. This is where you bring light to my life. Those are valuable. But I think we forget the recognition, and instead we're like, yeah, but this box of chocolate says all of that, obviously. And that's the key, I think. We don't need to reward our moms, but we definitely need to recognize them.
I love that, Dave. That's a good way of putting it. I put together a list of things that are almost under $50. Most of them are under $50. And these are gifts. They're not just things. They're gifts that you could give Mom. And they're gifts that you can give her in a pinch. Because if you're listening to this and I'm like, oh, what do you mean it's Mother's Day this weekend? How did that sneak up on me? Didn't we just celebrate Halloween? I mean, right? I get it. So I'll get to my list in just a moment. I think you're going to like them. And again, super simple, low cost, but I think meaningful. And that was what I was going for. Like something that's low cost, but meaningful, that Mom will like. But the most popular gifts of this $33.5 billion we spend on the woman who tells us not to buy her a gift at flowers. I saw a lot of flowers. I was at Walmart last night, dipping in there for a few late night snacks and some eggs. And flowers were everywhere. I had to fight my way through the jungle of beautiful flowers to get to the cashier. So obviously Walmart knows something that we probably all know. Flowers are our go-to.
Yeah, flowers are a tough one for me because my wife's a florist.
Oh.
So everything that I buy, I just hate because I know, like, this isn't good enough for her.
Greeting cards. 74% say they're going to buy greeting cards. That doesn't, I guess unless you stuff a gift card in there, it doesn't feel like enough. And whenever I stuff a gift card in, I do a lot of gift cards because my mom lives out of state. But I also feel like, I feel so lazy again. Like, it's just like, I don't really know. Like, that's just, so I'm trying to think.
The greeting card
outside.
is lazy?
Well, the greeting card with the gift card in it.
Yeah.
It feels a little lazy.
Okay.
So
how about my meme that I text? The snappy GIF. That would be a lazy on a level that's nearly incomprehensible.
Like, I spent 30 seconds looking for that before I hit the send button on the text. No, that's a big Debbie Downer. Special outings or dinners, those get expensive.
Oh yeah.
Brunch and dinner gets expensive. Jewelry, I spent $7 billion last year buying jewelry for Mom. What are y'all buying? Like, that's a lot of gold and diamonds, I mean, that I'd be like, oh, no, you're not doing that. And then electronics. What is that?
Mom needs a new big screen TV. Everybody knows that. Mom needs a 97-incher. And you know what? I'm going to hang it on your wall, Mom.
No, that's running into Target at the last minute and being like, do you still sell iPods? I need an iPod. One that's super easy. I don't have to spend any time explaining to Mom how to use it. So anyway, I want to get into my budget-friendly gift ideas that I think are more meaningful. And this is a list that I spent time putting together. I didn't go to a website and get it. Mom, if you're listening, turn off the radio right now because I'm going to explain what I did for you, and I don't want you to hear this. Hopefully she's at a class or something right now and she's not listening. So my mom is a bit of a history buff. And I wanted to give her something this year that was unique and is the gift that keeps on giving. So I found this wonderful website that delivers history like in a box or in a letter every month for 6 months. And then it comes with this coupon code. So I'm on this beautiful card that I sent her. And the fact that, I am a gift in and of itself, right?
Obviously.
So for $35 for 6 months, she's got this subscription that's going to show up once a month, and it's going to walk through a time in history. And it looked like it's just done, like with calligraphy, kind of old school. And I thought this will be fabulous. If it doesn't work out that it's fabulous, we'll just move on to something else next year. But I just was like, that's unique. It's thoughtful. It's unique. It took me a while to figure it out. And I was like, there's a lot of subscription type of gifts that you could do to fit your own mom, or come Father's Day, your dad. That'll be kind of like the surprise gift each month. You know,
I like it.
Just like, yeah, thank you.
I like that
That's
one.
That's fun.
That can't be totally affordable though, right?
It's $35 for a 6-month subscription.
Oh, I would have guessed $35 a month.
You're thinking 35? No.
Oh, 35. Okay.
$35 for 6 months.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's a 6-month, and you can. And I put it in my calendar to check in and make sure it's cool and worth it. And then I also put it in my calendar to get in there and make sure I cancel the subscription once we just make the decision on that. But I thought that was pretty cool. There's also a book. It's like a journal. On Amazon, it's $14. You could rush to Walmart maybe and get it for $9 if they still have them. I love this idea. It's a journal entitled Mom, I Want to Hear Your Story. I love this because when you give this to Mom with a beautiful pen that doesn't cost a lot of money, you're telling Mom, I care about your life's journey and I want you to write it down.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's not very pricey.
You're giving Mom homework, which is great. A nice little role reversal.
Yeah, but then now, as a result of that, you have her story. If you are going through some financially tough times, I know a lot of folks are, have that. Look, what would mean a lot to me is my kids would say something like, I'm going to come over on a Saturday afternoon, maybe not on Mother's Day, but on Saturday or whatever. We're going to do some yard work together on me. I'd love that because you're spending time together.
Yeah. We don't care what the time is spent together. We just want time spent together.
And the other idea is there's a ton of apps for that, and they're low cost. Let me give you one idea. I love my New York Times Games app. It's a subscription to like all the New York Times games. You could do the crossword. You could do the mini crossword. You can do, any number of Wordle, Connections. I love Spelling Bee. What a great gift for Mom. It's on her phone. It's $50 for the whole year.
Fun. I like those.
Out of the box ideas for Mother's Day. So everybody have a good Mother's Day. Movie show, guys. Up next.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. anyhourservices.com.
Dave and Dujanovic. The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
Well, the big movie of the week, Juliet and Romeo. Have you seen it yet, Dave?
I've seen many versions of that. Maybe not in the reverse. I've always seseen Romeo and Juliet. So is this a troll version again, like the little animated troll version?
Hi, guys.
I like that. Oh, I know what you're talking about, like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
My kids loved that one, by the way. No, but I bet it's for kids who watched that when they were a little bit younger, because to me it seems like it's aiming for the younger crowd, as opposed to the people who like. I'm actually impressed, Steve, that you liked it as much as you did, because I feel like you're betraying your Olivia Hussey love.
Well, that is true, and now I feel badly, but I did enjoy this. I thought it was good, and so shut up.
No, so here's the thing. It's Juliet and Romeo. So do you remember the 1996 movie Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes?
Claire Danes, yeah.
It was the original Shakespeare dialogue, but set in Miami in 1996. So they're saying all the thee, thou, call me but love,
The
and I'll be new baptized,
pentameter.
like all the stuff. Except it was set in a modern. This is like the mirror image of that movie. It's set in the 1300s where it's supposed to take place, but it's with modern dialogue. I mean, almost the first line of the movie is, "Where the heck art thou, Romeo?" And you're like, okay, this is not
Shakespeare is rolling in his grave.
Shakespeare, and then it's a musical. That's the other part. It is a musical.
Oh, it is definitely a musical.
And it's written, the music's written by the guy who co-wrote songs for Beyonce, Rihanna, and Jason Derulo. So it's got a modern flair with a classic look as opposed to a classic sound with a modern look. So that's why I say it's like the mirror image.
And the guy that plays Romeo, if John Barenthal and Diego Luna had a baby, this would be that guy. He's a handsome young man. He's cool.
Lots
He's
of
funny.
jaw.
He can sing.
Lots of jaw.
Lots of jaw.
Yes.
Well, so I liked the visual aesthetic of it. It's very colorful.
Well, they shot it in a castle in Italy.
Well, yeah, but with like a lot of fluorescent neon-looking lights and things.
It definitely has a Moulin Rouge sort of a feel to it.
So is it a rom-com?
It's not really a com as much as the rom, but it's a modern take on the classic tale set in the classic time. So this is why I say I think it's aimed at like the 21-year-olds right now, because it's their style. And people who are familiar with the old style Romeo and Juliet, I'm going to go see Romeo and Juliet, because this isn't aimed at little kids like Romeo and Juliet was. But I also don't think it's aimed at the older set. Like, it's really going right for a specific demographic. That's what I feel like, and I didn't really connect with it.
Well, I thought the music was good. There were a few songs that were catchy. Not all of them. There's a lot of them, and so you'll wait 1 minute and they'll change to another song. I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it.
So that's it. Juliet and Romeo, and oh, by the way, they tweak the story a little bit too.
All right. I look forward to it. Perfect. So Juliet and Romeo, that's out this week. What's the big question of the week?
Now, the question of the week is partly related to Juliet and Romeo. Name a movie whose twist ending blew you away the most. Now, don't tell us what the twist was, because we do want to preserve, at the very least, the surprise for people.
Okay.
Yeah, in The Sixth Sense, that the main character was Bruce Willis all along.
Is this what?
I see dead people.
Is that what you're talking about?
That is, well, I don't know. Have you seen that one?
That's got to be the obvious one, right?
Listen, we're not spoiler alerting a movie that is 25
No.
years old.
I'm just saying, don't give the spoiler. Just say the movie.
Well, okay. So I think I saw this movie back in 1975. Come on, can I not give it away?
I think so.
Okay, Planet of the Apes.
That's fair. But see, that's the thing.
Mine.
You can say the movie.
That's yours.
Just don't say what the twist is if for somehow, some chance somebody hasn't seen it.
Well,
I'm just trying to be nice. Because, again, these are the movies that created spoiler culture, too. Because you don't want to have that ending spoiled for you. Like, you can say...
I just wasn't expecting that ending, and I cried. Of course, I was super young when I saw it for the first time. I probably still would cry. So if you haven't seen Planet of the Apes, which came out 150 years ago.
It's a jarring moment.
Maybe you can catch it this weekend, I don't know, on Netflix or Hulu or something. It was very jarring.
And that's kind of what we were going for with this, Deb, was just the idea that, here's some movies that the ending will surprise you. We won't tell you why or how because the surprise comes. Now, sometimes knowing that a surprise is coming kind of spoils it, but really it doesn't. Like, I knew that there was a twist ending to The Sixth Sense, but I was still surprised when I saw it because I didn't know what that twist was.
Well, after that, every M. Night Shyamalan movie, you're like, all right, what's the twist? What's it going to be?
Yeah, you're just waiting on the edge of your seat. All right, I've got 5. How many do you want? I'm just going to rattle them off.
Which one blew you away the most?
The one I enjoyed the most was Spider-Man Homecoming. The one I did not see coming was Shutter Island. I did not see that one coming from anywhere.
I haven't seen that one coming either because I also have not seen it.
That's a great one. Great choice.
Yeah.
So here's one that I really liked, and this one I felt was really obvious too. How about The Empire Strikes Back?
Of course you had to get a Star Wars.
Well, because it has one of the greatest surprise twists of all time.
Can't argue with that. Yeah. And by the way, Luke, he is your father. There we go. I don't care.
Wow,
I don't
Dave.
care about your spoiling. At this point, I do not care.
Okay, guys, we got 30 seconds. Give me another one.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you one more since it's Mother's Day weekend. Deb, who's your favorite mom character in a movie?
Ugh.
Why do you do
what comes to mind?
Do this to me, Dave.
How about the mom on E.T.?
I don't remember that far back.
The mom in E.T.?
Dave, help me out.
The mom
Dave,
in
E.T.?
That was the one.
I'm just throwing an example out there.
Yeah.
How about Monster-in-Law? Monster-in-Law.
Who?
Was it
Jane
Fonda?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just going
what
off
about
the
Meet
top
the
of my
Parents?
head. Okay, that works. Gosh, that's
Dave's
a good.
dying in the background.
Dying over here.
You guys know.
You
You got to give me a heads up on this stuff, Andy. No more gotcha.
All right.
I'll think of something like when I'm driving home.
Okay, then text us on the movie show and we'll read it.
Love it. Love it. All right, you guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, Deb. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the movie show. It starts in just a few minutes.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is a monthly coordinated test of the broadcast stations and cable systems in your area. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. If this had been an actual emergency such as severe weather, earthquake, or evacuation, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This station serves the Utah operational area. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Susan, we haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history
Cherie Warren disappeared.
are now together for free at kslpodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files, Season 2, Justice for Joyce, and Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales live at My Hearing Centers. We're just a few minutes away from the movie show starting, but we want to give you the chance so that you have the most amount of time possible to take advantage of this offer if you need to get a hold of a loved one and say, hey, let's do this. And what we're talking about is getting your hearing checked and then having a chance to try out the latest in hearing aid technology. And heck, Steve, even if you already have hearing aids, this is something that you can do.
Yeah, the only thing is that people keep forgetting is that this is such a gradual process in hearing loss that you probably think you're hearing just fine, but I guarantee you, you're probably not.
And Matt, what age should you start? What age should people be on the alert?
Well, again, as soon as you've recognized yourself as a person with hearing loss, that's when you should start. If you're asking people to repeat themselves, you're turning up the TV louder than people want it in the room. If you're kind of missing out on conversations, that's a good time. But also, it's just recommended over the age of 55 that you should have your hearing checked every year.
And so what they're going to get a free evaluation, and they're going to get to try out the latest in hearing aid technology risk-free for 30 whole days, and then they'll come back and say, hey, is this something that I want to do? And that's when you guys will work with them if there's financing needed. Does medical insurance cover any of this?
Yeah, if you have insurance, bring your insurance card with you. We'll check your medical insurance, make sure we maximize your benefit. If you're not, we've got discounts and as well as financing if you need it. So we're going to try to really make the process as seamless and positive as possible. And also, I was going to say, if you're calling now, it's we're just finishing the first hour. We're going to be on for 2 more hours. You call now, you pretty much get your pick of appointment times. If you wait longer, thinking I'm not sure, we might have to push you out a little bit further. So give us a call now. Schedule that free hearing evaluation, and then try the hearing aids risk-free for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, we'll give you a gift card to get some movie tickets to go watch the movie.
See, there it is, the extra kicker. That's awesome. But really the best part of it all is going to be hearing things that you didn't realize you were missing out on, and having that for what people who find that a life-changing moment.
Yeah, reconnect with your loved ones. That's what we're asking you to do.
That's absolutely right. And nothing's been proven better to do that than to be able to have those conversations. If you're not having the conversations, you're not connecting as closely as you want to. So give us a call, have a free hearing evaluation, try the hearing aids for yourself, prove that they're working. And if they're not, you can still return them, and we'll give you that gift card to get the movie tickets.
So call this number for My Hearing Centers, 801-701-1629. That's 801-701-1629.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour, Utah's governor is launching a new initiative to improve the state's government efficiency. Governor Spencer Cox says this initiative is similar to what DOGE is doing, but there are some key differences.
It's about making sure that the taxpayer dollars are being spent in the most efficient way. Sometimes that means cutting, sometimes that means increasing or moving from one program to another.
Governor Cox says they're not looking to do mass layoffs, though there could be some changes. He's ordering all state agencies to submit at least one project to improve efficiency to his office by July 1st. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. As GOP lawmakers work on a budget bill, President Trump is requesting a new tax bracket for the highest income earners.
The president in this Truth Social post said he would be, quote, fine with Republican lawmakers raising taxes on the wealthy, but he acknowledged the political challenges of doing so. But if you read this post, his position still remains unclear. He's writing that even a tiny tax increase on the rich would lead to criticism from Democrats. He goes on to say that Republicans probably should not pursue it, but then he adds, quote, I'm okay if they do.
ABC's Selena Wing.